All right, this is the second part of your Flashback Friday 4 review, and these questions are a little bit more complicated. They're not quite as straightforward as the ones we did last week, so pay really good attention. This says, which number could fill in the list from least to greatest? So we know we're going small to big, all right? But they want you to fill in this spot right here. So the only numbers that matter are these. This one is not even involved in the problem, so you don't have to worry about that. So the first thing you need to make sure is that these numbers are both percents. 38 is a percent, but 4 over 6 is not. So 4 divided by 6, then we're going to multiply by 100 to convert it to a percent. And that means that this is actually 66.6 repeating percent. So I'm going to mark that out because now we've got a percent here. And we have to figure out which one fits in the middle. Well, let's go with 20% first. Does 20% go between 38 and 66%? It does not. So we're going to mark that one out. Now we're going to go over to our calculator and we're going to try B. So 0.9, we have to convert it to a percent because it's not 1, and that's 90%. Is 90% between 38% and 66.6%? It's not. It's also too big. So let's go here and I'm going to put in our next number. 3 divided by 5. We're going to multiply by 100 to make it a percent. That's 60%. Does 60% fit in between those two numbers? Well, as a matter of fact, it does. 38%, then 60%, then 66.6%. So we know this is our answer, but we're going to go ahead and try that last one just to be sure, because sometimes we make mistakes and we want to make sure that we are right. So we're going to multiply that by 10 and we're going to raise it to the -2 power. Then we're going to multiply it by 100 to make it a percent, and that's 1.2. 1.2% is not between 38 and 66. So we know that our answer C is correct. All right, let's look at the next one. Which set of numbers is correctly listed in ascending order? Ascending means you are going up. So you start small and you go up to big. So we've got 4 numbers, or actually 3 numbers listed here. All of the numbers are the same in every choice, so we're just going to do A, and then we'll figure out what order they need to be in. So the first one is 8.3. We have to convert it to a percent by multiplying by 100, so that makes 830%. The second one is already a percent, so let's just call it 83%. And then the third number is 8 times 10 to the -1 power. And we want to make it a percent, so we have to convert it by multiplying by 100. All right, so if we are going in ascending order, that means we need the smallest number first. So let's ask ourselves, what's the smallest? 830%, 83%, or 80%? Well, definitely 80% is the smallest, so it would have to go first. And the only choice that has that first is this one. Okay, well, I'm going to delete this part. I'm going to highlight it and then click backspace. And now I'm going to ask myself again, which of these is the smallest? 830% or 83%? Definitely 83%, and there it is. Then I'll delete that. And 830%, which is 8.3, is the last one. So you know that C is definitely your answer there. Okay? All right, the next one says put the following numbers in order from greatest to least. So that means we want to start with big and go to small. All right? So again, the first thing I'm going to do is convert all of the numbers, if they aren't percents, to percents. So let's start with 3 divided by 7. Convert it to a percent by multiplying by 100. Then we're going to go to 0.4. And we're going to make it a percent by multiplying by 100. And then I'm going to go to negative 42%, and I'm going to leave it there so I don't forget it. The next one is 4.2 times 10 raised to the negative 1 power. Excuse me, and I'm going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percent. And finally, I have the last one, which is negative square root of 2. To move my cursor out, multiply by 100, and we'll make it a percent. Well, let me make that 100. There you go. So these are the numbers I have. I have 42.9% if I round it, but I can just say 42.8%. I have 40%. I have negative 42%. I have 42%, and I have negative 141%. So we are going greatest to least. So let's ask ourselves, what's the biggest number? Well, that's a negative, so that can't be it. This is 42%. That's a negative, so that can't be it. That's 40%. And up here at the top, I have 42.8%. So this is definitely the biggest number. So I'm going to write 3/7 is my biggest number. Then I'm going to come over here, I'm going to highlight it and backspace. So now I've only got 4 numbers that I'm looking at. So I'm going to ask myself the same question. What's the biggest? 40%, negative 42%, 42%, or negative 41? Well, the negatives are the smallest, so that means it's between 40 and 42. So 42 is the next biggest, but I have to write it in the original form. So 4.2 times 10 to the negative 1. Okay, sorry about that too. It doesn't look very good. And then I'll put a comma there. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to highlight it and delete it. So now I only have 3 numbers to look at. And only one of them is positive. So that definitely is going to go next. So 0.4, which is 40%, goes next. And I'm going to come over here, highlight it, and delete it. Then I have negative 42% and negative 141. We're going down, so we want the biggest number. Well, negative 42 is much closer to 0 than negative 41. So that means negative 42% goes next. And the very smallest one is the negative 141. Let me delete that so I can write it in original form, which is negative square root of 2. Okay, so that is how you would do it step by step. Just be patient, ask yourself the right questions, delete them once you've already used them, and then you don't have to worry about getting mixed up. True or false? Again, we're comparing, so it's saying, is 152% equal to 0.52, which is equal to 1 and 52 over 100? Well, the only way to know for sure is to make everything a percent. So I'm going to make that 0.52 into a percent, and it's 52%. So I've got 152% is equal to 52%. I already know my answer, but we're going to go ahead and put that last one in the calculator. I'm going to type a 1, then a space, then 52 divided by 100. I'm going to move over, convert it to a percent by multiplying by 100. So that is 152%. But are all 3 of them equal? That would be false, because this one is only 52 and the other 2 are 152. Okay? So if you have any questions, make sure to contact us. Email us, text us, do whatever you need to do, but we need you to be ready for your test tomorrow. All right, have a great evening, and if you have questions, like I said, reach out and contact us, and we'd be happy to help you. All right, have a great night. Bye-bye.